Your stream may temporarily be blocked. Can you guys all see this? I don't know why it says that. Alright, bet. I don't know why it says that. Heads up, we've detected copyright audio and video in your stream. Definitely not. Alright, let's go right into the economic calendar for today and the earnings. So again, today is Thursday now, which means Snowflake and Plug announce earnings as well as Salesforce. So today, Best Buy, Macy's, Kroger, Billy, they all announced as well. So we're going to take a look at all of these. And then after hours today, ChargePoint, and then Dell, Costco are probably the main ones that people are looking at for today. Dude, I think YouTube might have blocked my stream. Maybe. It's kind of crazy. Alright, Thursday, jobless claims, 8:30, which is at about 18 minutes. And then 8:30 again. 10:30 for gas report. So we don't really have a lot of things going on for today compared to yesterday and the day before and the day before. But then tomorrow, we have someone speaking at 12, someone speaking at 4:15, 9:45 composite final, and the services index at 10 o'clock. So we don't really have a lot of stuff today. 8:30 is the big one, but it's always jobless claims. And then 10:30 gas report. Something to note. Stocks to watch for today. Tesla shares slid 5.3% in pre-market trading following its Investors Day on Wednesday. Offered a look at how the electric vehicle maker is lowering costs and tackling various design and engineering challenges, but that disappointed some investors who were looking for a product unveiling. Salesforce surged 15% pre-market, reported better than expected quarterly earnings. Shares for Silvergate, I don't care about that. Macy's, Kroger, and Best Buy are due to report results after market open. So market, I don't even know why it says that. On Thursday, small cap stocks shine in market reversal. Okay, chart in the markets. Rivian electric trucks don't burn gas, but they sure do burn cash. All right, that is everything on there. And last but not least, real-time economics. Let's see. Core measure hits record high. What to watch for today? 8:30 jobless claims, labor productivity. 8:30 Bank of England chief economist. I'm not even gonna try and pronounce that. 10 o'clock. I cannot pronounce my words today. And then someone speaks at 4 o'clock today. Fed might be winning inflation fight depending on index used. 2.8% from 6.4% January. PC, CPI. Factory activity contracts in February. Yeah, I think that's about it. All right, yeah. That's all we need to know for today. Tesla contracts should be cheap today. And today's Thursday, so hopefully. Shout out Race Life. Welcome to the Love the channel. Nice. All right, let's go over the watch list. Now again, Snowflake did announce earnings. So let's take a look at this. We are down. Like I said yesterday, it was probably going to give us a new area that we could look at, even though we didn't really have anything besides like 125. This still gave us a new area to look at, this 139, 140 area. I'm looking at this to take it to the downside depending on how much these contracts have in volume and liquidity. So if the volume of these contracts are like not there, then I'm not going to be able to take it under this 139, 140. But if the contracts look good, 139, 140 area does not look bad at all. You guys can see it literally came right down to that 139, 140 area. So I'm looking to take this to the downside if we ever get there. Now plug's about 13.51, so again it's way too cheap, honestly. And then Best Buy, let's look at Tesla, honestly, because I know Best Buy we're not gonna be able to play that. Wow, Tesla is still falling down, bro. It was at 187 like 5 minutes ago. Now it's down to 185. Honestly, if I keep putting levels to the downside, let's say 185, it's probably gonna break pre-market. This thing is down bad pre-market right now. Let's take a look at the daily time frame, and let's look at our buyer zone on Tesla. Let's see how far we are. So right now we're about 185, so right here. So we're getting close to our buyer zone, which is 173, but we're not close yet. So this kind of still does have room, as you guys can see, but we'll just leave it like that. 183 is the next level that I'm looking at to the downside. The reason being is because this pocket right here, you guys can see that this 183 area was very reactive about a month ago. Yeah, like literally a month ago. And you guys can see 183 reaction to 182.61, because last time it came under that 183, what happened? We came down to 182.61. So I want to make sure that we know that that is what happened last time. And we have to be careful of that 182.61 if we get under 183 today. But we are pretty far away from that. The next level under that, if we do break pre-market, is that 180 level. I don't think 180 is going to break pre-market, hopefully. I mean, we still got about an hour and 12 minutes left, so I'm just waiting for that, honestly. We'll see exactly what happens there. 183, 180. But that's Tesla. Let's go right into NVIDIA. And NVIDIA also broke my level, that 225, and now we're down to 223. That's crazy. Let's take a look at a 1 hour time frame. Yeah, even this, because that's 123 right there. That actually doesn't look that bad. I really want to see how big these walls are for me to even make some levels, but obviously if we get a continuation, like, you're going to have to play under that 223 just for a continuation. Right under this area as well. I think the main one, though, is that 220. Just because, look at these wicks from last time. We literally opened right there, and we came down. We opened right here, came down to that 220 and tested that. If we go back about, let's say, 20 days ago, let's see exactly how it reacted there. 223 was low-key choppy right there, but at 220, that 220 looks amazing, honestly. I'm probably going to delete that one and this one and put 220, because look at that reaction right off that 220 to keep going. So 220 looks great to the downside. I'll play that to the downside since it is Thursday. Contracts will move today. So that's exactly what I'm going to do with NVIDIA, is at 220 upside. I'm not even looking at upside, honestly. This whole market is just weak right now. Tesla 183, 180. NQ. Let's take a look at NQ. Let's go to the 1 hour. As you guys can see, NQ is kind of holding up in our last zone right here. Hopefully it continues to hold up, so I don't have to make another zone to the downside just yet. But as you guys can see, we literally chopped around back and forth, bottom of here. Literally rejected perfectly at the top of there. And then we came down, broke under that, nice breakdown, came back up, nice breakdown again, came back up. And then we started coming up and literally rejected the top of this area again. Like, it's crazy that we had these zones here for the longest time and they're still very reactive. Like, look at this. Literally reacting off our reaction level. It's insane. So, right now, I mean, NQ is our last hope. If NQ starts to go under this 11,850 again, then it's over. Like, this thing's going to keep falling down. So I really want to see what happens here with NQ. This just gave it weakness because it retested it, and now it's trying to come down, and it's trying to go under this reaction level. It's pretty weak. The market's pretty weak. You guys can see this. That is weak. Like, look at that. Literally NQ. So that just shows you how weak this thing is, but these are my levels right now. It's literally going back and forth in between these zones. And let's take a look at ES. Now, I have an important key level that I added, 3960. Again, this important key level changes every single day. All the zones always stay the same. And obviously previous high day and previous low day will have to change every single day because there's always a different previous low day and previous high day every single day. But as you guys can see, just like NQ, ES is also rejecting at the top of our zone area, right? ES is also rejecting off the top of our zone area, which means that we also broke under this previous low day. So if it really wanted to, it could definitely just keep going. It's pretty weak. Last time we retested a zone, like talk about a perfect retest. Look at this, right? Same zones as yesterday. Bounced off of this, came down. When it broke under that, look at that move down. Literally retested perfectly at the top or at the bottom of that zone right there. Talk about perfect reactions in these areas. Like, if you don't have these on your charts, you're trading blindfolded. So now it came back up, retested the top of our zone, and now we're trying to come back down again. I don't really have anything until 39.11. This is the problem with this kind of range right here. I mean, it was the same right here as well, from here to here. It's a little bit less, but again, we're kind of just in the middle of our zone, maybe higher in this area. So it's definitely weak, right? Again, just like yesterday, I can't really play calls right here if it's rejecting this area. Right, this is how I'm able to formulate plans. I can't really play calls if it's in this area. I can't really play puts if it's in this area, right? Because there's so many sellers in this area. There's so many buyers in this area. If I'm going to play puts right here, that's literally going against all these buyers in that area. And I would need to see aggression versus this. If I got calls right here, I'm going against all these sellers and I would need to see aggression from the buyers in order to actually be able to get calls or puts. So just like this, right? In this example, if we go over here, I don't know why it's not doing it. All right, let's just go right here. And as you guys can see, right, we're in this zone area. It bounced off of there. You can't just take it off a bounce like that, right? In order for me to play calls, look, we came all the way down like that. I would not be able to play calls, and I wouldn't be able to play puts like that. Right? This is where we formulate the plan, but we don't make the plan just yet, right? We just wait. We don't execute. It comes back down. If this thing bounced, right? If this thing bounced and it started to hold the bottom of our zone and I see buyers actually starting to come in at the bottom of the zone, that's when I'm able to get calls, right? But if it broke under and actually closed under that, that is weakened. That's when I'm able to play puts. These zones are here to formulate your plans, and then price action will tell you exactly when to execute and how to execute and what you're executing, calls or puts. But these zones is where I'm looking to execute my trades, right? If it breaks under that, that's when I'm able to get puts. If it's holding that area, that's when I'm able to play calls. And you guys can see literally as soon as it closed under that, that thing absolutely tanked. That would have been such a nice trade. You don't just take it off the first test like that. You wait for it to come back over. And if it tested it again, that's when you're able to. Guys, it came up, retested that. Look at that. Nice rejection off of there. We keep going. Again, you can't really formulate a plan unless it's like an intraday zone or something. But the most high probability trades are going to be these. It came up, rejected that. You wait for it, rejected it again. And it came back down, rejected it again. I would play a breakout reversal is what I like to call it. You guys can see this is literally a perfect zone right there. As soon as it closed under that, that's when I got into puts. Breakout reversal. Again, it's higher probability to get puts in this area than calls. Especially if it's rejecting. There's so many sellers in that area now that it's more high probability to get puts than calls, and it has a higher profitability as well, right? So this thing started coming down. He played a breakout reversal right there. Start coming down, and look, nice move from here all the way down to there. And then now it's kind of going back and forth. Again, nice rejections in that area. I know someone would definitely, and my staff would definitely probably took this. It came down and then retested that previous low day. You probably would have took puts. It came down like that. Nice scalp right there. But again, I can't really formulate a plan again until we start to come back in this range again, depending on what we do at previous low day, or if there's an intraday zone. So for example, let's say this actually kind of looks like a zone already, but let's just say, for example, we're about to trade this, and let's do it right here. Our zone right there. So if I wanted to, and we had a zone right here, we look for the one reaction, bounced up, another reaction right here. This is where I would try and formulate a plan. If this closed under here, that's when I'll be able to get puts. But see, you guys can see that it's bouncing. So that's where I'd be looking to get calls at. If the book map, if the level 2, the time of sales is showing me that there's more buyers there than sellers, that's when I'll be able to formulate my plan. And you guys got to remember that profitability on reversals is so nice, right? Like, you have to think about it this way. Just think about the profitability here. And look, you guys can see now it's bouncing. But the profitability here, you're going to take a, let's say your stop loss is right under here. So let's say 0.5 or something like that. Your stop loss is going to be right here. You have to think about high probability and high profitability places. The risk to reward is super nice. Let's say we got in right here as we saw that it bounced. Right? And let's say this is our entry. Mark this out in yellow. So this is about 2.5 points difference. So we go 2.5. For a 1-to-1, right? And this is what I kind of do in my head, right? Obviously, you know, it depends on what price action is doing for me to get in and get out and sell and stuff like that. But if it's at a very high probability area and I see that literally low a day or something that's very strong is like 2 points away and this thing has so much room all the way up to that maybe previous low a day or something like that, I will take it and maybe lose 5% to possibly make 15-20%. Like, you have to think about it from just a risk to reward standpoint. Even though you're supposed to get out and get in based on price action, just think about it for a second. Just keep it simple. If my risk is super small, let's even say the bottom of the zone right here, right? Let's say it goes under that. That's when I'm going to sell. Let's go down to 0.4. Right? Just think about it. If we get in there, or if you want to, since you know the risk to reward is so clean, the closer you are to your stop loss, obviously the less risk you'll have and the more reward you'll get if it's in your direction. Just think about it. You have a small stop loss and you have so much room up, right? Just like yesterday. Let's go back to yesterday. I think it was around right here. Yeah, it was around right in this area, I think. Let me try and find it. It was a very high probability trade that we took yesterday. And it was right around, we took this breakout. So we took this breakout, came up, came back down. See if I can find it. So I remember this thing. And it was so high probability. It was insane. Came up, came back down. I think it was around this area. I'm not too sure. I'm trying to think. We started coming down. We came back down. Rejected that. Came back down again. Bounced. I think it actually probably was right around this area. Just because we were at our zone. I don't remember if it was this area or this area. But we were at our zone. Because we took the break out of that. We came back down and bounced literally off our zone. It was perfect. But this is like high probability. Number one, we're in our zone. But it's like, look how close we can get to our zone area, right? We came down. The bounce off our zone right here. Came back down. And we're starting to hold the bottom of this area. You'll literally take from here. Let's say you got in right here. At 54.5. You'll take about 4 or 5 points difference for a stop loss, right? And you have room all the way up to the zone, right? So let's say you get in right here. And this is what I think about in my head when I'm in the trades, all right? Like, okay, I'm entering right here, and it's a very high profitability trade because my stop loss, let's say we put it at 39.50, right? So on the rest of the contracts, we get stopped out at 39.50. Number one, there were so many buyers at that 39.50 area on the book map. I remember that yesterday. There was a lot of buyers 39.50. There's a lot of buyers 39.51. So there was a ton of buyers in this area. The chances of us going up versus breaking 39.50 is so small. right? The probability was not there for us to break 39.50. Like, there were so many buyers in that area. So if you see that and you see it trying to come down here and it's trying to bounce, let's say you get in after this candle closed, right? This is a 4.5 point difference. So if that's a 4.5 point difference, your first risk to reward, number one, right, is right here. This is that 1-to-1. That's a high probability trade because we're at the bottom of our zone area right here. And that's such a nice risk to reward. This thing has room all the way up to right here, and this thing has room all the way up to here. That's at least 1-to-1, 2-to-1 risk to reward. Reversal breakouts and just regular breakouts, the way that we trade it, gives us this very high probability reversals and trades. And it's like, you have to think about it for a second. If you're not going to stop out of your stop loss, then you're going against your entire trade plan. If I'm getting in and my risk is right here, I know that I'll lose, let's say, for example, 5% or 7%, and I possibly could have made 15 to 20 to 30% on that move. So I need to follow my plan and stop out where I should stop out, wherever your stop loss is at. And a lot of people don't think about it like that, and they don't think, oh, my stop loss is right here, and this is at least a 1-to-1 risk to reward, and this thing comes up. Like, this has room. Now, obviously, I'm not calculating it, but you can see if my stop loss is right here and I get in right here, then my target is probably around that area. Like, I know that it is a very high probability trade, and it's a high profitability trade as well. So that's exactly what I'm looking for. And you guys can see that news literally just came out, and now we broke under we broke under the zone now. So this is why it's goated. Honestly, you guys just saw that it just broke under our zone. Even though it was news, still a nice trade. Even though I wouldn't take it because it was news, but again, we're waiting for it. What does it do in this area? Right? This is the last area that I'm looking at until this thing absolutely just dumps. Right? This area right around here. I want to see what happens when we get down here. This is where I could formulate my trades. Right now it's bouncing off of this area. But again, after a huge move like that, I'm just waiting to see what it does. I want to be able to formulate a plan off of here as well. Right? If it comes down, starts to bounce, and it bounces again, I'll be able to play calls off of that. Because this is a very high liquid area. There's a lot of buyers in this area. This is why we came down to 39.25 and bounced. If I can get close to that lower day and put my stop loss, let's say my stop loss is that lower day or something like that, and I see it starting to bounce, this is a very high probability trade if everything aligns. All the time frames, the time of sales, the level 2, book map, and if everything aligns, this is a very nice trade. So if it bounces and it bounces over here, that's when I'll be able to play calls, the reversal breakout. And then if it comes down, right, and it breaks under this area right here, this is when I'm able to play puts. Now again, you have to look at every time frame. This thing's coming down. If it breaks under here, you'll be able to play puts. This is way too aggressive for you to even consider playing calls just yet. You're literally gambling, right? This is called gambling. If you go to the 5-minute, and I literally have this, I don't know if you guys can see this, it's at the top left of my screen. I literally have this on every single time frame, and I have it across my entire monitors. Right, I have the 5-minute here, the 2-minute here, I have the 1-minute right there, as you guys can see in the YouTube live, and then I have the 15-minute, the 1 hour, the daily right here, and then I have bookmap over here, all for just ES alone, and then I have NQ over here as well. And I literally don't even have to see how the time frames are looking. All I have to do is just look at this right here. So I'm able to formulate the trade off of this as well. I'm able to see if this is light red right there, that means this is aggressive to the downside. If it's dark red, that means it's kind of slowing down. If it's dark green, it's slowing down. If it's light green, that means it's picking up. But you're also able to see how the time frames are looking. Is this looking weak or strong? Right? It really doesn't take an analyst from Tesla to be able to figure this out. Is this 5-minute time frame looking weak or strong? Does anyone know? Is this 5-minute looking weak or strong. And I keep forgetting there's a delay on here. How bad is the delay on here? Like 5 seconds, 10 seconds. Really weak. Exactly. This 5 minute is really weak. All right. Strong to the downside, weak. Right. This thing is weak. So I wouldn't be able to play calls like that. Now, if we go to the 15 minute, is this weak or strong? Is this weak or strong? And this is literally, I have it all on my charts. This is how I'm able to see everything at once. It's weak, exactly. You go to 30 minute, that thing's weak. The 1 hour is weak. Look how weak that 1 hour, literally a break and retest. That is so weak. And we go to the daily time frame. This is looking weak, right? This is looking weak. So if every time frame is showing me that this is weak, there is no way that I'm playing calls just yet. Absolutely not. Why are people trying to play calls after every time frame looking weak and after a huge move to the downside like that? That is insane, right? Why on earth would I ever think about playing calls just yet? But if we take a look at over here, right, when we started to come down, what happened when we got to this area, right? Again, this still looked weak, but if we go to the 5 minute, what happened? If we take a look at the 5 minute and let's say this bounced and then retest it again and trying to hold this, does this look stronger or does this look weaker than this? You guys can see this looked weak, right? I wouldn't be able to take a trade off of here. But then if it starts to come up and then it's trying to hold again, right? This looks a lot stronger. This looks weak. That looks exactly what this is doing, even though this looks way weaker. This right here looks weak. If we come up, again, this is probably weak. This is probably weak. Then it comes down and then bounces again and gives us this strong candle. That's showing me that these buyers are trying to take control in this area. And then you just follow along with Bookmap or the level 2 time of sales. You'll be able to see that these buyers are starting to come in at this 39.25 area. You can't take it off here. Comes up and retests this area. Okay, this is strong. Let's wait for another candle. And then extra confirmation as soon as that candle closes. Look how strong that looks. Came down, bounced right back up. But this thing is weak. I wouldn't be able to take a trade off of this. This is weak. You go to the 15 minute. Again, we came down after a break and retest. We broke that low right there. And now we're trying to hold again. As soon as we start to hold and break above this area, and this is what I'm talking about, that breakout, the breakout reversals is what I like to call it. This area right here, that low right there, we broke under that. And now we're trying to retest that. If we break above that, we have this low that are already created. That's a very nice high probability trade. You'll be able to take that. Now look how weak this 15 minute time frame looks right now. No way am I going to play calls right there at all. We go to the 1 hour. Again, we've been coming down this entire time. It's try to bounce at this low area right here. All right, and then retest it again and start to come up, retesting our zone. If I took it from this area to here and I know that our zone's in this area, number one, I probably would have started taking profits at previous low day already. But this area is a very high probability that there's a lot of sellers in that area. I better be 90% out in this area. Why? Because it's our zone right there. I'm going against my zone. I could leave runners because this thing could just keep going up, but that's all hindsight. You don't know if this is going to keep going up. This is a very high probability chance that this thing is going to absolutely tank. So if I know this is a high probability area that this is absolutely going to tank after a huge move to the downside like that, then I'm going to sell 90% and just leave runners to just move my stop loss up. Because if I could sell at this area and I'm up, let's say 70%, I'm able to sell majority of my contracts at that area, right? So let's say we already took 75% out, like in this area or wherever. And then I left 25% to run. And then we're back up to the zone and we're kind of reacting in that area already. I'm taking another 15% off so I can get more cash flow for the day at 70% gains on the 15% of my contracts left. And I'll just leave 10%. You know, I'll leave 10% to come back in that previous low day for my stop loss. And let's say we're up 50% on the rest of those contracts. I was able to secure at 70% and then 50% on the last 10%, just leaving it up. But I want to make sure that I do not allow a nice trade like this, right? I want to make sure I don't allow a nice trade like this to not start to cash flow me for the day by me taking some off. Taking some off in very high probability trades. I don't know what's going to happen here, right? You're not predicting. We already know that this is a very high reactive area. I'm going to take some off. And that's exactly where I'd be taking some off. Previous low day. You take some off there, get some cash flow for the day. So now you're in the driver's seat, and now you literally have full control over this trade. You already profited for the day. Your stop loss could be at least break even, especially if you got it over here, at least break even. But you should probably move that thing up and just keep moving that up. And let's say, for example, you moved it up to right here because this is a very reactive area. This is where my stop loss would be on the rest of the contracts. I'm already 75% out, 25% left. Again, we would stop out in profit. So either way, we're a profitable trade right now. You're in the driver's seat and you just let this thing ride. I can be very, very patient when I'm in the driver's seat and I have the plan here. Oh, if this is my stop loss right here, I'll still be up 20%. And I already secured 75% at 30% gains. So I'm just waiting to see if it gets to my zone or my stop loss right there. And you guys literally hear that in almost every video. I'm like, all right, well, if it hits here or it goes to that high day, that's when I'm able to sell. So then I just waited. I literally waited like 20 minutes for that thing to go to high day, but I stuck to my plan. And it's so easy to stick to your plan when you start to sell some contracts when you're in profit. And you have to be in the driver's seat. Being in the driver's seat is super important because you're able to actually just wait and just stick to your plan. Now, if I had my full position there, I probably wouldn't be able to hold this thing just because I want to make sure that I, make sure that this whole trade that I was able to catch stays green but does not go red. And I want to make sure that I'm able to sell at a very good high probability area. So this is why you start selling, start getting some cash flow for the day. You start to see it kind of holding up in an area. It starts to come up, breaks out of this. You start to take some as we're getting to this previous low day. Now you're 75% out. Moving your stop loss up right here, as you guys can see, a reaction level. Now you're in the driver's seat. Now you wait. And waiting is very easy when you're in the driver's seat. Next thing you know, we came up. And if that was your plan to sell out, that was your plan to sell out. But now we're trying to come down to here. Again, this is random reactions. I don't want to look at random reactions. Even though this is at that 39.30, we're way too close to this area right here for me to formulate a trade right here. But there is a lot of buyers in this area, right? This is why you wouldn't chase puts. If you were going to get puts, let's say we didn't have the news, because you should not really be trading during news, but y'all can do what y'all be doing. Let's say we had the zone right here. Remember the zone right here before I just deleted it? And let's say news didn't come out, but let's say that was just price action. That's when you're able to formulate a trade. If you don't get in near that area, then you're going to be chasing it, and then you're going to try and get in right here, trying to chase that, and that risk reward is not nice. Your stop loss, it came from all the way over here. Your profits, it's just not worth it. Versus if I get in puts right here, I know that if I'm wrong, I'll be able to know if I'm wrong right away. And if this moves, it'll be a nice move. We'll literally risk, like, let's say we get in right here after it started coming down, after we saw weakness. Let's say we got in right here. That's a 2-point stop loss, and then this thing came all the way down to the 30s right there. So that's literally a 3-to-1 risk to reward right there. Very nice moves. And as you guys can see, it's kind of retesting that zone right there. That's the next trade that you could kind of formulate there. Let's go right here. If this thing starts to come up in this area again and retests that and looks weak, you could potentially play that back down again. But you have to make sure that every time frame is also looking weak. So if we're in this area right here and it doesn't look strong and we're rejecting that zone and we're looking at the 5-minute, right? This 5-minute is trying to bounce a little bit. We see reactions in this area. You want to be careful about playing the break and retest right here to see exactly what happens, because we had a huge move to the downside and now people are finally taking profits. You have to see what every time frame is looking like. The 1 hour. 1 hour is trying to bounce again, right? 1 hour is now trying to bounce. This is why it's very important to keep looking at different time frames. That 15-minute looks weak, but look at that wick though. That wick is crazy. We're starting to react to the bottom area right here. This thing is trying to come right back up. So you have to be careful. This thing is trying to come back up though. We need this stream tomorrow. Don't know why everyone can't hit the like as soon as you get on. This should be called the pre-market lesson. Nobody teaches them much. Pre-market lesson. Dude, the thumbnail today, that took me a grip to make. It's like a 3D type of thing that took me a while to make. So hopefully you guys like that new thumbnail. 100 likes. Yeah, you guys are close. You guys are about like 40 away. If you're watching a stream and don't press that like button, then you're most likely going to lose money. Oh my gosh. But yeah, this would be the next formulated trade, right? And obviously right here. A break and retest of here. And if it doesn't get there, then it doesn't get there. Then I'm not going to be able to take anything. But again, it's better to get in when you're supposed to get in during your plan than to try and chase this and then just get stopped out just for it to go to where you thought your plan was going to go in the first place. A lot of people would try and anticipate this and just get puts right here, and it could work out, but you have a higher probability of this thing trying to come up here and then going down, because a lot of people will get stopped out as it starts to make its way down. You're like, oh, this is it. This is going to keep going. And then it bounces right to where your area that you were supposed to get puts at, and then it starts to come down, and then you're like, wow, I just got stopped out. And then you're going to get mad at yourself. It's all about sticking to your plan. You're never going to get mad at yourself for sticking to your plan. This thing starts to come down. This thing can bounce. So this is where I would get calls. A bounce right here. And then it bounces one more time to make sure that there's actual buyers here. This is where I'm able to get calls. If it breaks under this, this is where I'm getting puts. So you got to make sure every time frame looks weak. And if this thing comes right back down, that 1 hour time frame is looking very weak. But right now it's kind of holding in that area. Again, current momentum. This is literally green, right? I'm not going to be able to play anything just yet. This is a dark red. So it's not, nothing is giving us a move right now, but this looks like people are literally just taking profits. You can see we came down. People are literally taking profits on the 5 minute. Let's see what it does. But again, it didn't come up to our zone, so we can't really take anything. We have to wait for it to come to our zone or we can't take anything. You're going to get mad at yourself because one day you didn't stick to your plan and it worked out exactly where you're supposed to do, but you didn't execute it that way. You're going to get mad at yourself. But you're never going to get mad at yourself for not sticking to your plan. This thing is trying to come down. Again, this 15 minute kind of looks weak depending on how we get down to this area again. It's trying to bounce a little bit, but let's look at this 1 hour. The 1 hour kind of looks weak. It's not really doing anything right now. It's kind of bouncing in this area. So I want to see exactly what happens there. Looks like people are just taking profits though. But again, this thing could just keep running up. We don't know, and we're not trying to predict. We just make our execution based off the zones and what it's doing at our zones. And that's it. That's all we need to do. We wait for it to get here because I promise you, if someone was trying to play puts right here at the zone and they got antsy, and they played puts right here and it didn't really have any follow through and came right back up to the zone, they're going to get stopped out and they're going to get mad at themselves for not getting the entry that they wanted to get in the first place. And now they're down on the day and now they're making reckless decisions and who knows what happens after that. So that's when we formulate the trade right off of that area. And we also need to make sure that we're looking at NQ as well. What is NQ doing? We take a look at NQ. NQ is literally holding the top of our zone or the bottom of our zone area. You guys can see it broke under, came right back up, broke under that, retested this, broke above that. Now it's retesting the bottom of our zone. I can't play puts if NQ is bouncing off my zone. That is crazy. Look, bro, the reaction level that we've had for days now, look how well that reacted. Like, that is insane. You would think that we had this like after it happened. We literally had this. You guys can look back at all my live streams literally yesterday. We had this level before it happened, and look how reactive that was. If NQ is bouncing off our level right now, right? If NQ is bouncing off our zone, then I can't play puts on ES. If ES is bouncing off our zone, I cannot play puts off of ES. Now, if NQ breaks under that again, then I'm able to formulate a trade if every time frame is looking weak. Because now we got the confirmation from NQ, but we can't just get the confirmation from NQ. We need a confirmation from every single time frame. Okay, now we're trying to get the confirmation from NQ. We can close under that 11,850. If that closed under 11,850, we got the confirmation from NQ. What else do we need? We need to make sure that every single time frame is looking weak. How's this one looking? It looks like people are taking profits, which is good. That means this 5 minutes weak. Let's look at a 15 minute. That 15, you guys can see right there, looking kind of weak right there. Look at the 1 hour. 1 hour is kind of looking weak right there. The daily time frame, daily looks weak right there. Let's make sure that we get our confirmation from NQ. Let's see it. You guys can see how reactive this area is though. And it's just the same zones over and over again. You guys can see that NQ is now trying to give us confirmation. NQ is giving us confirmation. So now where do we enter? Oh, well, we can't enter into this area. So now it's just you're chasing it at that point. Now, if this did this when it's right here, that's when I'll be able to formulate a trade. But I can't really do it when we're in this area, right? But here's the thing. We could play a breakout. We could play a breakout of this 39.30. And that's exactly what I would do. 39.30 breakout. Every time frame is looking weak. NQ is looking weak. A continuation. I would be looking for a breakout. Because the only reversal that we could have got was up here. And it didn't hit that area yet. So we can't play it. We're sticking to our plan. So now if every time frame is looking weak and NQ is also gave us their permission, then we can just play a continuation into this next zone right here. And as you guys can see, we came right back in. Look at NQ. As soon as we closed under that, look what happened. This is how we're able to formulate our trades. And now it's trying to break out of that 39.30 area. Let's see what it does. You guys can see reactions in that area. The next reactive area is this. So we got to be careful about this area. Now it's trying to bounce off this 39.30. But every time frame is looking weak. You can't play calls off of that. Absolutely not. No way yet. The only way that I'm able to play reversal is down here. If it gets down here, that's when I'm able to play calls. If it breaks under this, I'm able to play puts. But we're not playing calls right here. The only thing that I'll be looking to play is puts because how weak every time frame is looking and how weak NQ is looking as well. And this is how you're able to formulate your trades and formulate the plan. Make sure you guys like this video up as well, or this live stream if you guys want to do this tomorrow as well. Tomorrow is Friday. If you guys are enjoying this, let me know in the comments. W stream. But look, I can't play calls off here. It's not that high probability. I know there's someone that will, but it's just not my style. I look for very high probability trades. If every time frame is looking weak and we got permission from NQ, right? If we got permission from NQ that we broke under here, even though it's bouncing at that low, it's not as high probability. I need to wait for us to get down to this zone right here for calls or puts. The only thing that I could play right here is a breakout, and it's going to be puts, and that's it. I could only play puts right here. I'm not playing calls. It's not as high probability. But we just wait, and we just formulate the trades and formulate the plan, and now we wait. I can't play calls right here. This thing could literally bounce to all the way up to our zone right there, and I don't care. As long as I stuck to my plan, I'm good. I don't get FOMO if I stick to my plan. This thing could just keep bouncing, but I stick to my plan and I formulate the trades off of that because that's what's kept me alive. That's what's keeping me right now. I'm literally live streaming. Like this is, I stuck to my plan and here I am. If you stick to your plan, you'll be able to do that as well. It's all about sticking to your plan. The reason why you're not profitable is because you're not sticking to your plan. Most of you guys know the reason why you're not profitable if you're not already. And you guys know deep down inside, it might be your risk to reward. It might be your stop loss. It might be you're just getting in and just chasing stuff. You're over trading. You guys already know exactly why you're not profitable. Most likely. Unless you have absolutely no clue, then I would definitely try and figure that out for sure. But the only thing that I could play right here is if it breaks under this, puts. If it reacts right there, puts. If it holds that and kind of comes up, then I'll be able to play calls off of that. If it bounces here, and I see another bounce right there, I'll be able to play calls. If it breaks under this, I'll be able to play puts. But these are literally the levels that I'm looking at right now. So if market opens and we're still in the middle of this area, you best believe this is exactly what you're going to see on the YouTube recap at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. This is exactly what you're going to see. You're going to see me take the breakout under here or whatever in this area or whatever in this area. And you're like, wow, I watched that on the live stream this morning of him talking about these levels, but, you know, this just went over my head. I have no clue. You know, I didn't really feel like getting out of bed to put these levels on my chart. And, you know, I could have made some money. It's all about what you do with these levels that make it count. Everyone could have these levels on their chart. Some people don't know how to execute. Some people don't know how to stick to the plan. Some people aren't disciplined enough to stick to the plan. It's about clicking the button when you're supposed to click the button. Executing when you're supposed to execute. That's it. And now we wait. We wait for it, and that's it. Trading's not always exciting at all. It's exciting when we're in the trade and stuff like that, but it's all about sticking to your plan, right? It's all about sticking to your plan and just waiting. 90% of trading is just waiting. Waiting. Imagine not being in front of your broker charts while watching this live stream. Yeah, man. Some people don't want it. But the people that understand that it's literally you versus you, those are the people that will get it. Patience is key, 1000%. And this is why we wait. All right? You literally could have played calls right there. You could have chased this to the downside. It worked. Keep trying to do that and it won't work, right? The reason why I'm very consistent is because I literally wait. I'll wait all day for it to come down to my zone and my level to trade. I won't trade if it doesn't get there. And this is why it's very high probability, because how long we wait for this stuff. The longer you wait, usually is the better. But it's all about waiting for the right moments. And that's with anything in life. All right? A snake waits for the right moment to strike. If you're boxing, you wait for the right moment to strike. It's all about timing and just waiting. Patience is so key. And I know you guys probably hear this all the time from everyone else, but patience is 1000% the reason why a lot of people are not profitable. You're not patient enough. You just gotta wait. And now we wait. We're literally waiting. Like, it's boring, but this is what we do. Giving out too much. I'll slow it down. Do you always trade 0 DT on SPY? If you're talking about what expiration I trade on SPY, then yeah, I'm always 0 DT. Why would I give up a higher percentage? What are the zones because screen is not showing? I'm pretty sure the live stream is a stream. Like I don't think you could click in the live stream without seeing my screen. Even in the afternoon. I don't really trade in the afternoon, but yeah, if I do, I'll just go later. It's dim. I would definitely turn up your brightness then. But yeah, now we just wait. Great to hear your thought process on levels and price action. More examples I hear, more I am learning. I'm a member of Discord. Keep doing this. I appreciate that. Yeah, I was about to say it's not dim. I think it's user. But yeah, again, we just wait for this. It's all about waiting. Like, it is. Yo, can y'all hear me? Yo, they taking over, bro. I'm giving out too much game. Someone's trying to shut this thing down. Someone's trying to shut this thing down. That's wild. But yeah, it's about formulating and waiting for the right moment to strike. Let's look at all the levels again. Let's see if anything broke our levels. We're waiting for Tesla. 183 to the downside. 188 already broke, so we could literally delete this. 188 already broke pre-market. So we're waiting for that 183 to the downside. 180 to the downside. Upside, I'm not even looking for upside. This thing is too weak. This thing is way too weak. NVIDIA. That Tesla twice. NVIDIA, I'm looking at that 220 to the downside. You guys can see 223 is kind of reactive. It is reactive, but it depends on how big the wall is at 223, and depends if we break that pre-market or not, honestly. So I'd be careful about that. We'll just put this here just in case. So we'll just say potential. That 223, depending on how big the wall is. 220 to the downside is what I'm looking at. NQ is now back in our zone, or trying to. We've rejected the top of that. Now it's trying to reject again, which is still, there it goes. This is still just reactive in this area. That's insane. And you guys can see the ES is starting to come up now. Starting to come up. This is where we can formulate our trades, right here or right here. If it breaks out of this, calls. If it tests this and then rejects this again, that's when we're able to play puts. But you guys can see this, literally, we're at this buyer area right here. There's so many buyers in this area. It was looking weak, but look how many buyers, number one, were in this area right here. Just think of, like, this is literally what I think about in my head. Buyers here, sellers here, all right? If I'm going to play calls, I better make sure there's a lot of buyers there. If I'm playing puts, I better make sure there's a lot of sellers there. And that's it. If we're bouncing off of this area, then again, you got to be careful about what direction you play. But look, this looks strong again. The 15-minute looks strong, right? It's bouncing off this area, and you have to be able to flip it like that. These time frames will flip super fast. This looked weak, bounced off of that, bounce, boom. This looks strong again. It's trying to come up. Let's look at a 1 hour. That 1 hour is trying to look strong again, but the 1 hour doesn't look as strong as every other time frame, but it still looks like it's trying to bounce off this area. Now it's retesting the top of this zone. What are we looking for? A breakout of that for calls, or if it rejects this, comes down a little bit, maybe retests this area again, and then comes up and retests again, that's when we're able to play puts to the downside. I need to see it come back and then retest it again, so I see that sellers are actually in that area, and that's when I'll be able to play puts. But calls out of that area right there. Amazon, I'm pretty sure Amazon is like, but look how reactive that is though. But I'm pretty sure Amazon is cheap. Last time I checked, 91 already. Dang. Let's see if there's anything close. What is that? It already broke. Probably just going to be that psychological level, honestly. 90, 91. That 91 was reactive. Look at that. Look how reactive that was. So 91, 90 area you got to be careful about. But honestly, continuation to the downside, 91. You got to be careful about that 90 area, though. If you play under that 91, you got to be super careful about all these buyers sitting there in 90s. But if it flushes under 90s, you're good to go. So I'd be careful about those. These things, that was from over there. I'll look at Amazon in a grip. Netflix, let's look at Netflix. Yeah, this thing absolutely don't. Snowflake. Did it retest it again? Oh my gosh. It retested 139. Get rid of 140. 139 is what we're looking at. That is looking so nice. Yeah, just go back to yes. This is our buyer zone. As you guys can see, this is another reactive area. Crazy. Look at that. Literally, oh my goodness. Retested these zones. Like, look at that. Came up, retest that, come right back down. This is just the area that we want to see it bounce. If it bounces and rejects this again, that's when I'll be able to play puts. But look how reactive this is. Look how reactive this is. All these areas are just reactive. Yeah, make sure you guys hit the like button. You guys about 15 away, and I'll do this tomorrow as well. When you draw price levels or zones, are you looking for breaks only in one direction, up or down, or might they work either direction? When you draw price levels or zones, are you looking for breaks only? No, I'm not looking for breaks only. It depends. Like this area right here, I'm playing either a breakout or a bounce this area right here, a rejection or a breakout. If it's something like this that's like very close to another zone right here, then I'm not going to be able to play calls off of there unless it's really strong. You just know that your probability is not as high, but you could definitely play like 1, 2 right there. I personally wouldn't in that scenario just because it's not that high probability since how weak this thing was looking. But if it's like a level like that, a continuation is what I'd be looking for. Rita Pharmaceuticals. I don't really look at pharmaceuticals. Are you trading SPY using ES? Exactly. A lot of people are getting that confused on my YouTube. I shared my SPY fills yesterday, and people still think that I trade futures. I guess like it is maybe confusing a little bit, but yeah, I literally trade SPY contracts, SPX contracts off of ES, right? SPY or SPX. I've been trading SPY because the spreads are so nice. Just literally off of ES, and it works. Look how clean ES is, and look at SPY. Like, ew. Yesterday, same thing. Like, it looks cool. It definitely looks better than usual, but if we like take a look at ES, and then it just looks so much cleaner. Honestly, like this is so much cleaner. It just so happens that SPY started to look good yesterday. The day before that, though, so much different. Are you in Canada, and what kind of platform are you using? I'm not in Canada, but if you're in Canada, you could definitely use Interactive Brokers. Is SPY still good stock to trade? The options are. I don't really trade equity. What time frame did you get that small zone from right above the closest high? This one? Right here? It's going up like crazy. It jumped 175%. Surprised stocks are still doing that. That's crazy. I remember trading, I don't know if anyone remembers this. You guys remember like eyes and ears? It was a stock that was like very tradable. It was eyes, ears, and eyes, ears. It was something with an F, like furrow or something. I don't know if you guys remember that. You guys might not been in the game too long, but if you guys remember that, let me know, because that was good times. Eyes, ears was moving. You guys probably think I'm crazy. Hold on. I swear this is a stock. Unless they took it off. No, it's $3. Okay. It probably merged with someone then. Eyes. Okay. I'm definitely not the only one though. But yeah, we used to trade equity as well. Eyes, ears. Good times. Good times. That was when everything was really moving. Those things would be up 600, 700% and like, boom. What's up? What level would you be looking to exit puts on Tesla if you play the breakdown? It's all based off price action, but you have to make sure that if it's starting to react to areas, which is why I have reaction areas, like if I'm in puts under 183, for example, and I see it reacting at 182.61 and it's really reacting there, that's why I know there's a reaction there already. That's where I'd probably start taking some off. I'm like, okay, well, this is reacting there. Like, this is exactly what happened last time, and that's when it just ran. So I have to be careful about that. But you have to make sure that, like, you have reaction areas. The next area for this thing to react is really not until this 180 area. But if it's starting to react, I start to take some profits along the way. Like, if I see reactions, and then I'll just trail it all the way down. But it's all based on price action. If you have a target, right, you could target with the rest of your contracts like runners or something like that, but it's all based on price action depending if you're trying to sell or something like that. And enter, of course. Ticker's ear? Is it? 116, oh, it might be. Eyes, ears. Oh yeah, it definitely was. That's crazy. Did it do a split or something? There's no way that's just from one day. That's crazy. But yeah, now this thing we used to, bro, back in the day, 2021. Dude, this thing was crazy. It was ear and eyes. I remember eyes. Imagine shorting it. Yeah, that's so risky though. Imagine shorting it here at 700 just for go up 1500. You would be down crazy. Let me see. What time? There's a few accounts under the name with one is yours on what, Instagram? Here and CNTM. Bro, I think I remember that. TNDM. How long ago was that? Yeah, a lot of stuff was. Yeah, this is crazy. Good times. Yeah, on Instagram, mine has. Actually, I don't even know how you can really tell a difference, but like, it's literally my name, no spaces. Make sure there's both S's in Schlesinger, like my last name. Make sure there's no spaces. Make sure it actually spells out my name. I have 40.2K followers, and I follow 101 people. So hopefully that could like, and I always post stories. Like my stories, you could tell that it's me since I post stories. So definitely don't message anyone else. Hey bro, quick question. With scalp trading, what is considered short-term capital gains? Yeah. Can you show snow? Yeah. Let's see. 139 is what I was looking at, and it better not break right now. That 139 level is what I was looking at, though. When you profit from a trade, are you only able to take 20% of your profits or all of it? Wait, what do you mean? Are you only you're able to take whatever, like if you're up 20% on the trade, then you're able to take the 20%. When you play breakouts, I find that when I get in my contracts are almost immediately in the red on a market order because the premiums are moving so quickly. Do you have any way to mitigate? You probably, I mean, when I get in, you guys can literally see like the YouTube videos that I show percentages at the same time. It's like when I get in, since the contracts are so liquid, as soon as I get in and it goes in my favor right away, I'm already in profits. So if you're running into that issue, make sure you're not getting filled like delayed or anything like that. Make sure your brokers are not delaying your fills or anything like that. And make sure that they're very high liquid contracts, because if they're not and you're trying to get filled, it might not fill you until like a couple seconds later to try and find someone to give you their contracts. So you have to be careful about that. The most blatant thing is Instagram's account. I won't say follow back, assuming you follow lender. Yeah, that's the other thing. But these people are getting good, bro. Do you have any picture from your account, please? They'll just copy my pictures. So just check if I have a story. Hopefully the other accounts don't have stories. But it's literally just my name. Let's see. I think that's about it. Oh wow, it's already 9:15. Jeez. I gotta get to the Discord. Let's see how many likes you. Oh, you guys are 6 likes away. You guys better like this up. 6 away for me to do this tomorrow. Great advice about the right contracts to buy to get in and get out quick. It's all about liquid contracts. All about liquid contracts. But look, now we're trying to come up. If this rejected again, that's when I'll be able to play puts. Do you pay taxes on only capital gains? Yeah, you don't pay taxes if you lose. Look at that. Now it's trying to break out. What version of Dash do you use? The 120 a month. Dude, Dash needs a sponsor me, bro. I modernized Dash. It's rejecting the top of that area. But I'm about to go to the Discord. If you're in there, I'll see you in there. If not, I'll see you guys at 2 o'clock for the video. Peace.